My presentation is on Kennedy's foreign policy. John Kennedy had a strong interest in foreign policies and relationships between countries from a young age. He wrote his senior thesis on an analysis of Britain and their military force, lacking to the Germans during World War II. While his father was an ambassador for Britain, JFK would watch his father handle political situations regarding Europe. The JFK quote is from his campaign speech for Massachusetts Senator in 1951. He realizes that foreign policy was a key issue and basic concepts such as taxation, domestic prosperity, all connected to the peace from foreign policy. JFK advocated for containment, which is a policy which aspired to stop the spread of communism. He also asked Congress to pass legislation allowing for the Peace Corps. This program is still in existence today, and Americans will volunteer in countries that are less developed, and the volunteers will help with construction, healthcare, agriculture, and many other things. JFK deferred to Eisenhower in the way he handled foreign policy. Eisenhower thought nuclear weapons would be a more suitable option than Kennedy did. Kennedy would attempt to stop the spread of communism in more peaceful ways and was more flexible regarding foreign policy. At first, JFK had supported a ban on nuclear weapons and was opposed to them. He later allowed for the buildup of these weapons just as a flexible response to the Soviets. The Bay of Pigs was when more than 1,000 Cuban exiles stormed beaches at the Bay of Pigs in Cuba during 1961. Fidel Castro took over Cuba after 3 years of guerrilla warfare and overthrew an exiled former dictator Batista. Fidel Castro made close ties with the Soviet Union, and JFK was worried because of their close proximity. He overruns many businesses that reside in Cuba. Operation Bumpy Road was codenamed for the invasion of the Bay of Pigs, which was initially authorized by Eisenhower. After JFK became president, he gave the go-ahead because many wanted to strengthen his foreign policies and ultimately stop the spread of Soviet influence in Cuba. The Bay of Pigs was a disaster as Cuba saw them coming, and the citizens of Cuba did not want to revolt. JFK also did not allow for air support. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a confrontation between the Soviets and the U.S. that lasted for 13 days. The U.S. unsuccessfully tried to overthrow Cuban communist leader Fidel Castro, which was the Bay of Pigs. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev secretly deployed nuclear weapons in Cuba. Military advisors heard about this and ordered an invasion of Cuba. JFK, however, wanted a more careful approach, and he ordered that the Navy to intercept all shipments coming into Cuba. Khrushchev said that this was a blockade and it was an act of war, and nuclear weapons were a possibility to end this blockade. In a Soviet submarine, the U.S. hit it with a depth charge, signaling it to come up. However, the submarine thought war had begun. The decision to launch a torpedo was up to 3 officers, and the second in command voted against it, so the strike never happened. The US and Soviets reached an agreement to end the confrontation if the US removed missiles from Italy and Turkey and didn't invade Cuba, and that if the Soviets removed missiles from Cuba under UN inspection.